So what's the ideal weakness going into a job interview or a virtual onsite during the pandemic? In my opinion, that's creativity. And the primary reason for this is because many of us are actually struggling staying creative during these rather uncertain times. And the simplest proof is that, for example, YouTube is recommending me a ton of content around how to stay creative during the pandemic. And you'll probably know a couple of YouTubers that actually stopped publishing videos during the pandemic, or at least stopped publishing on a regular basis during these times because they have to accommodate to this new environment. So I've been actually giving a good thought around this, and I've been thinking, hey, are there any roles for which I would not recommend using creativity as a weakness during these times? And actually, I believe that pretty much every role applying for at a high-performing company requires a certain degree of creativity. So that's why I believe it will make sense in most, if not all, cases. And I would go even further, that even if you are supposed to be a creative thinker in your role, web designer, for instance, I believe that would even fly even there, because if you admit the struggle with staying creative during the pandemic, and if you sell it well, like for example, if you say that, hey, during these uncertain times, I believe creativity is not one of my, I'm something that I have to accommodate with during this new environment. So if you sell it in a positive context, in a context where you are learning as you go about these things, I believe, yes, this could even fly for primarily creative roles, right? So all in all, keep in mind that the primary reason why they ask you the primary reasons for which they ask you for a weakness is they want to see whether you can admit that you actually have a weakness. And the second reason is how you sell this particular weakness. So I find this creativity pitch to be something that you would want to consider for your upcoming virtual insight, primarily because that's where you're most likely going to get asked these questions. So hopefully you found this interesting.